Hello everybody, my name is Fabian and I'm very honored today to have a special guest joining me for an exclusive interview. You may know him as the voice of Dr. Eggman, one of the most famous video game villains of all time, but he's also a pretty well-known voice actor, the extraordinary Mike Pollock. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks so much, Fabian. Thank you for having me.
Okay, first of all, let me get this out of the way. I've been listening to your voice since I was 9 years old, because in Germany we didn't have national language voice acting for the Sonic games until Sonic Generations in late 2011. So yeah, I basically grew up as with your English voice as Dr. Eggman. So it's a pretty surreal opportunity to chat with one of the voices of my childhood, and I just wanted to say it's deeply appreciated.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't have been more German in the voiceover ring, but you do what you can.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question of the interview is a pretty common one, but I think it's necessary to explain to people who aren't as familiar with you as I am. How did you get into voice acting?
I started as a kid loving theater, loving radio. As I grew up and worked in radio for a while, and then radio had enough of me, I decided to fall back on my theater training and use the voiceover talents that I developed in radio to make a career out of voiceover. So voiceover combines the love of radio and the love of theater quite nicely, because it's all theater of the mind, kind of like what radio is, with a little bit of acting, kind of like what theater is, and it works together nicely.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're pretty well known as a voice in anime, in movies, but you're also a general actor. So you basically started in theater and in radio, and then you just transitioned into voice acting.
Sure. Voice acting is just a specialization. It's not a restriction. I can still step on a stage if any stage wants me, or if I want to attempt to step back on stage, I can work on camera if anyone on camera wants to have me. But it's the acting I do is I focus on voiceover because it's much more efficient for me. I can do 2 or 3 jobs in a day instead of maybe just 1 or 2, maximum for on camera or on stage, and I like it that way. There's no makeup, there's no costumes, there's no rehearsal, there's no block lighting. It's just you show up and talk.
Okay, that's awesome. So for everyone who's been watching you on social media or who just listened to your performances in voice acting, it's pretty clear that the art of voice acting is near and dear to your heart. But if you just got 3 words to describe what voice acting means to you, which ones would it be?
Fun. Engrossing. And food.
Okay, so how did that last one come to be?
Now it's my job, so it gets to pay for food, clothing, and shelter for me and my family.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
I can't really have food simultaneously. That's not good at all, but
yeah.
Now that it's my job, it leads to food.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. So one of your most famous roles is, of course, Dr. Eggman, Dr. Ivo Robotnik in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. And how did that come to be? How did you land the role of Dr. Eggman?
I'd started working with 4Kids Productions on their 4Kids cartoons, 4Kids TV, things like Kirby Right Back At Ya and Ultimate Muscle. The team that was producing Kirby Right Back At Ya also ended up producing Sonic X. And they were really determined to have me audition to be Dr. Eggman. So they sent me some clips of Dean Bristow, which I studied because they wanted a sound-alike performance. And I practiced my Dean Bristow voice. I'm Dean Bristow. And went in for an audition. Did a fairly successful audition, it seemed, but they had me come back for a callback or 2 or 3 because Sega still wasn't sure. And finally, after about the 3rd time, Sega was convinced and they took me on as Dr. Eggman.
And that was a pretty wise decision, if I say so on behalf of the fans.
I'd agree.
Yes. So Dr. Eggman is kind of a gruesome character in some aspects, but he's also responsible for a lot of comic humor moments in the games. Are there? I know it's just a role, and you're hired to portray him as good as you possibly can. But are there any character traits or any situations where you could relate to Eggman?
Well, I've found that sometimes when yelling at my children for misbehaving, little Dr. Eggman sound might come out. Mostly because me yelling is me yelling, I've learned. But also as he gets old and curmudgeonly and crotchety and complains about the world, and I get older and curmudgeonly and crotchety, we also complain about the world.
Wonderful. So just one last Sonic-related question. Was there any game or maybe a TV show like Sonic X or Sonic Boom which you especially liked, which was your favorite to work on?
I don't usually play favorites, but I'd have to say just from the experience of doing it, Sonic Boom, where we got to record pretty much ensemble style. I was usually remote in New York where the rest of the cast was in Los Angeles. Just getting to work with everybody simultaneously is a treat, because usually it's much more efficient to record separately. So I'll be in a room by myself reacting to either pre-recorded people or reacting to nothing. But theater is all about acting is about reacting, so it's much better to have somebody to react with or several buddies to react with.
Okay. Yeah, Sonic Boom was also an awesome show. I think it was the best comedy Sonic ever had, and you were quite responsible for that as well. I recall so many great Eggman moments. So yeah, wonderful.
Thank you.
So you have a very versatile voice, because I didn't know, because I didn't see Sonic X in the American original for quite a few years, that you also spoke Ella the maid. So you have a very versatile voice, a very well crafted voice. And I just wanted to ask you, besides learning, are there any daily, everyday exercises, routines that you do?
There should be. There probably should be more. There aren't really. I try to avoid excess yelling. I keep the yelling mostly for work, unless the children are really out of hand. And stay hydrated. So Starbucks always a good friend, but any type of beverage, especially when I'm working, is good to have. If the role is extremely strenuous, I might do a little vocal warm-up beforehand, but not usually. But again, don't take my word for it. If you're going to do this for real, you should probably warm up more.
Okay. So I did some research on you, and I read that you were trained in various dialects, also the German one. So could you maybe give us a little impression of that?
Well, it's most helpful to have someone doing it in front of you. So to be able to hear you as it essentially mimic you, yes, I guess I can. I hope that's acceptable.
Okay, awesome. Do you know any German words in particular?
I narrated a book about the Nazis, and there were some German words in there. I'm not entirely sure why they gave me that job, because I don't know any German words that don't apply to food. Sauerkraut.
Yes, sauerkraut.
Schnitzel. But this book had some German phrases, but I, being the courageous actor I am, I went online and used my knowledge of the International Phonetic Alphabet to transcribe some phrases and practice them to be able to read them back more or less accurately, I thought, when I was reading the book. But the reviews disagreed, saying I obviously had trouble with my German pronunciation.
Oh.
Well,
I heard it, and it sounded pretty alright to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
You can't please everyone. I've also learned that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So in German, basically, Eggman would mean Eiermann. Okay.
That works. I like that.
Okay. So, in your illustrious career, is there any memory that particularly stands out that you always remember and it just puts a smile on your face? Because I think you're such a well-experienced voice actor or actor in general. I think You, I think you had many awesome moments with fans or just at work, portraying so many different characters.
The live events that Sega's done in recent years, we had Sonic Boom in New York in 2014. We had the 25th anniversary in San Diego, the Hard Rock Cafe. The live events have been really cool because just a whole room full of people who have some idea of who I am and what I do. And I get to work with some of my castmates in person and just have a great old time. Those are excellent.
Oh yeah, I can just think about that. It must be a great feeling having people like me talking to you and just saying what an influence you had. And for that, we can just thank you.
Thank you.
So, is there any funny story from the voice acting studio? But you also record from your home, I searched. Is there any particular funny story that you maybe would like to share with us?
Every job will have me laughing at something, if not something in the script, something goofing around with my castmates or engineer. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that stands out incredibly. Possibly one of the most interesting auditions I had to do was an electrocuted chicken. For some movie, I didn't book the role, unfortunately, but I certainly gave a standout performance of screeching and squawking and zapping that apparently was... Somebody must have done it better because I didn't get that role, but okay.
Yeah, you can't get every role, but I can imagine that working just fine. Okay, so basically those were all the questions I had. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to maybe say something, anything you want to all of your fans, everyone who's watching.
Sure. If you haven't visited on social media, please do. I'm at itsamike.com on the website, It's a Mike on Facebook, It's a Mike on Twitter, Mike.Pollock on Instagram, but I'm only there because there was some discount at a restaurant I got for posting something. So people find me there anyway, but not in the top two. And if you're going to chat, there are on my website rules of fan engagement, which I would appreciate it if you follow. Basically, it just means keep your conversations public and somewhat related to the world, and don't chat privately without an appointment like this type of interview situation.
Oh yes. So before we wrap things up, my lovely girlfriend prepared a little picture for you, and I just wanted to show it to you. It's nothing like a fan art, Sonic related, it's just a personal gesture of appreciation, and I just wanted you to react to it.
Please. Well, look at that. That is excellent. Look at me. Look at you. Nice. That is fantastic. Bravo. I'm applauding.
So that's all the time we've got for today. And Mike, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat, to answer all these questions. It was really a great honor for me.
Danke. See, look, more German than I know. Look at me. Thank you so much, baby.
Oh yes, thank you so much. And would you be so kind and give us a little Eggman impression?
Sure. Let's see if he can speak German. Dankeschön, Fabian.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so that's it.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.